selling snacks.
What's going on, everybody? Your boy Sin here, back for another episode of Anime Vote. This is season 2, episode 5. We're getting close to the end here. And with this one, I wanted to go back and revisit a film that I saw way back in the day called Wicked City from 1987. So let's just start in the beginning, where we like to start at, which is why does this one resonate with me? I think the reason why it resonated with me, because it had everything in it that I, was coming up on at the time. It had amazing action, blood, sex, violence, all that type of stuff, the gory stuff. And that was my entrance into anime. There's another one that my uncle put me on to. And that intro scene has been burned into my skull ever since I first saw it. It never is far from my brain. It was kind of that disturbing. But with that, let's get into the synopsis of what the story is actually about so you can get an understanding. So, what's this story about? This story, in this world, you have the human world and you have, they call the black world, but the demon world essentially, who have had peace for all these years, and now rumblings are starting to happen, and it's time for them to sit down, have another peace treaty, to calm down things that are happening between both worlds, to put a ceasefire down, all that type of stuff. So we introduce our main character, Taki, who is a electronic salesman by day, but his technical real job is he's a blackguard, and these individuals are kind of charged with protecting the humans, if you say, from them, kind of help keep things in low, kind of like a security police force, secret police force, if you will, type of deal. And with the things happening between both sides, like I said, it's time to sign a peace treaty. So Taki and this female demon by the name of Makie from the black side, the blackguard on their side, are to come together, team up, and get this old guy by the name of Mayart, who's there with the original peace signing treaty like forever ago, to escort him to where the peace treaty signing is going to be. Make sure he gets there in one piece so they can sign it and everything can go back to the way that it was. But of course, there are individuals out there that don't want that to happen, so the movie takes place over a night, so they're constantly trying to stop them from getting him there throughout the night. And that's pretty much what the story is, without going into too much more detail. Now, the question is, should you take the time out of your busy schedule to give this one a viewing? I will say this was probably the most difficult one I've had to do so far. And where I landed at is, it's okay. I have some issues. We're going to get into that in just a second. But it's just okay. And of course, since this is a movie, it has no intro song for us to talk about, and does it still rock and everything. So we're going to skip past that. Now let's move on right to the characters and how they hold up after all this time. So how do the characters hold up? Honestly, not really. I didn't remember anybody going into this. And after watching it after so long, I can kind of see why. Mayart, the old guy that they're delivering, he is your typical old man, extremely pervy. He might be near the top of that list. But yes, he's your typical, old pervy man that we've known, it's an anime thing, you know what I mean? So with him, it's pretty much, it is what it is when it comes to him. No big deal, that's fine. Taki. Taki's our main protagonist, and it's hard for me to wrap my head around him. I can't tell if he's good at his job or bad at his job. Like, for instance,
shameful would be the word I'd use, because you were supposed to protect Mr. Mayart, not abandon him. You acted selfishly and with complete disregard for his life.
You see what I'm talking about? Or if he just likes being difficult for the sake of being difficult.
Taki, I'm very, very disappointed in you. And in spite of that, you're one of the best blackguards I've ever seen, but you're too goddamn romantic. You understand what I'm saying? That alone is your one fatal flaw.
See what I'm talking about once more? I tend to think, though, that he does do it just for the sake of being difficult. Like, maybe that's part of his character. I don't know. Like I said, it frustrates me. And then Makie. she is set up to be this badass, beautiful, demon chick from the other side, and she's gonna come in and kick ass and take names type of thing. She's like that for all of 5 minutes. And then she's just used for shock value for the majority of the movie to get sexually assaulted and worse for the whole time. Now, understand why creators use the imagery of sexual assault and, worse. It's to get emotional reaction, out of the viewer, to give you an understanding of how the world works, or give you a reason to hate this villain, this bad guy, even more. But in this, it seems so unnecessary. Like, those scenes aren't necessary to drive the story, any forward, and it just seemed pointless. Yeah, it just didn't work for me, and it was they were completely unnecessary to have in there. So let's move on to the action, thriller, adventure portion of this, and how does that hold up after all these years? The thriller and the adventure portion, I would say, definitely hold up. The action is pretty solid too for something that came out in 1987. However, I do have an issue. And that is with Taki's weapon of choice, which is some type of revolver. Look, I don't know who made this thing or why he chooses to use this weapon. Because whenever he fires it, he gets thrown violently into a wall, a door, a cabinet, something. And I mean, it happens every single time he pulls the trigger. Don't believe me? Look for yourself. Flip. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about? Like, it makes me wonder, why would you use such a risky weapon like that? It doesn't make no sense. But then when I think of it like, well, they keep getting hit with it, so their combat awareness is pretty low, or the bad guys just plain old suck to keep getting hit by this thing. So it is what it is, I guess. So overall, yeah, I just find this one right down the middle, like, just okay. Like, it still looks good. The action, and the thriller portions and all that stuff still look good and feel good. But my frustration with his just character and them using, Makie is a sex puppet for demons throughout this thing just really frustrates me. As far as watching it again, it probably won't be a long time till I, just forget it all and would probably go back and watch it again years like this time around. I would watch it with somebody who hadn't seen it before, though, just because, I love anime and I want to see their reaction to the stuff, that I, was witnessed again to after all these years and how they feel about it, especially those two characters and just how they just handled them throughout this movie. But that's it for now. Y'all know what it is. Until next week, season finale. I will see y'all then. Deuces. What's going on, everybody? Did you enjoy what you saw? Of course you did. So if you want to help us out and support us, here's what you can do. On whatever platform you're currently streaming this on, just like, share, and subscribe. Then head over to patreon.com/loading snacks and become one of our patrons there.